Lions fans, welcome back in. Steven, Will, I'll let you guys know. There might be some spoilers, okay? If you have not seen the Netflix show Quarterback featuring Jared Goff, I don't tell people often to not watch, but there's going to be some stuff talked about in this Netflix show. So, Will, where do you want to begin?
Well, the first thing that I'm gonna say is hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and think about becoming a member. But that out of the way, uh, I'm gonna do my best not to have any spoilers. But the more I think about it, Steve, you really can't spoil what's already known. The suspense is gone. Everybody knows what happened for the season, and that's basically what this thing is about. So I just want to do a bit of a reaction to watching the series Quarterback on Netflix season 2 with Joe Burrow, Kirk Cousins, but more importantly, Jared Goff. Jared
Jared
Goff.
Goff.
You feel
Jared
me?
Goff.
You know what I mean? So getting right into it, Steve, I took a lot of things away from watching and getting a little bit of a behind the scenes look at what he goes through on a day-to-day basis uh outside of football. Um, and just that inside the huddle look that we talk about sometimes, wishing that we could know what they're saying, what they're doing, how some of these play calls work, just the inner workings of some of this stuff. That said, after watching the show, what's your reaction and how do you feel about Jared Goff? Is there any changes? Is there anything that you didn't know? Do you have any immediate, just surface level feelings before we get into it?
Pain, heartbreak, disappointment, sadness, depression, anxiety. Do you just want one word answers, Will? Because I had a
I'd say
whole
go
a
for it.
whole list. I told you before the show even came out. I said I know I have to watch it. It's Lions related. We have to watch, but like you said, you know how it ends. So up until like episode 6, I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. Like there's some stuff, so seeing some things, it's nice, but man, then when you turn on episode 7, and I think Burrow and Cousins had like the first half of the show because they were eliminated from the playoffs, so they really wanted to focus on the Lions on the second half of that last episode. They flashed to outside of Ford Field before the playoff game. Well, and I'm telling you, like my wife was here, and I flat out told her I was like, I don't know if I can watch this. I just don't know. I don't know if I can sit through this again. One of the most devastating losses that I've ever had as a Lions fan. We went in there so confident, cocky. I was like, man, it's January. We're gonna have a good night. It's gonna be fun. Eagles coming to town next week. Like looking ahead, and here we are. Will just one and done. So I guess it was pretty sad. And I told you it was like I can't watch movies where I know the dog dies in the end. This was worse than that. Like I can't watch I Am Legend. I can't watch Homeward Bound. If I go to a movie where there's a dog, I have to look up and make sure that it's okay at the end so I can go see it. I had to suffer through this one, but other than that, the other 6 episodes were fantastic. But that last one killed my spirits. Will, if I'm being honest with you.
Steve, sometimes I think that it's just meant to be for us to be doing this thing together because I think that I'm going to bring you back. I think I'm going to bring you some joy because if they watch the show, people watching now, tuning in now, if you've watched us historically, the series receiver. Will didn't watch the last episode. There was no need. There was no need for that. Have never seen it. Still have no idea what's in there other than the bad news. And I'll never watch it. I have no reason to. But this one I went in, and for some reason, actually I do know why. I wanted to have a level of preparedness to be able to talk about it. So I watched it. And I'm glad I did, Steve. And I'm glad I got an opportunity to get a little bit more of a feel for Jared Goff and his family, especially his wife. She was in tears, devastated
Same.
after the loss. And I love it. I love it. I love that she's so invested into the games and the team, the ornaments. She's got freaking Gibbs and Montgomery ornaments she's putting on the tree. She's in. She's not just a trophy on his arm. No, she's in. She's watching the game. She's biting her nails. She's understanding. She's talking about flea flickers. She didn't have it quite down, but she's talking about some of the inner workings of the offense and stuff like that. I enjoyed that. Getting to see Jared Goff, we had suspicions. We heard what the coaches said and some of the players said he was and he wasn't. But getting to see him actually speaking to his team during that Houston Texans game, like, hey, I've never been in a situation like this before, but I'm just going to keep ripping it. Like, and then I love throughout the series looking at him when he did make a mistake. We've been critical of him making certain mistakes in certain moments. And he walks over to that sideline and looks at those guys and says, hey, that's on me. I'll get it back. Let's go get him. We're okay. I would rather he didn't make the mistake.
You bring it on yourself. You kind of have to take the blame, right?
There's a lot of guys, and we've talked about some of them who are not willing to take any of the heat. They're just going to blame it on other people. Jared Goff could have easily said, hey, listen, I was kind of in a situation to where the offense had to do a little bit more because the defense was banged up. He could use all types of excuses. He didn't choose to do that. He just pressed on, faced every adversity, and then when things didn't go the way that he wanted them to go, he went to that podium, apologized to the city, to the fans, said, hey, I kind of feel like, if I played a little bit better, maybe we win that game. I love that about him. Good Samaritan. That's all. That's all cool. That's not going to necessarily win you football games. Steve, here's the pertinent part. Here's the thing that excites me. Here's the thing that brings me solace. Here's the thing that brings me absolute joy. Steve, Jared Goff is going to go absolutely crazy this season. Why is Jared Goff going to go crazy this season? Because if you know anything about Jared Goff, and I can't believe I didn't put the keys or the pieces to the puzzle together sooner. This is a guy who operates when he has a chip on his shoulder. This is a guy who needs fuel for his fire. He said a couple of things about going into that game against the Washington Commanders. He said he expected to win. That was the expectation. Did not expect to be going home. Kind of expected to get a couple of victories, the number 1 seed, rest up. There were expectations. That chip that he typically carries on his shoulder, he let some of that ammunition ease off of his shoulders if you listen to some of his conversation. And then we messed around and we got sent home. His words. And it's just the facts. I think that's just going to create an even bigger and badder chip on his shoulder. More focus, more drive, more determination. He has to prove the people that don't believe that he can win a Super Bowl wrong. He said it in the series. He thinks about it every single day. Wakes him up at night. He wakes up thinking about, hey, if I would have did this, if I would have did that. Steve, we already have a quarterback who's shown you that he can be extremely accurate and he can be, when he's on, he's on, when he's on fire. If we get that same guy, but instead of the ceiling being to the moon and the floor being beyond 6 feet under, I just need a guy who's steady and doesn't make those big time mistakes. I think his focus and his determination from the mistakes that he made through last season is going to drive him through this season to not make those same mistakes. Coach Morton, our new offensive coordinator, it's one of his priorities, he said, to bring to an offense that's already successful. Just not turning the ball over, taking care of the football. So between our new OC, determination of our quarterback, I think we are set, Steve, to not be crying in agony like your daughter over there. I hear that.
Yeah, I was wondering if everyone could. It's just tough
That's
times in the Perkins household. 7:30 at night. It's getting to be close to bedtime, and just not happy campers over here. And she knows that Uncle Will's talking about a Detroit Lions loss, so that's probably just adding some fuel to the fire. I mean, trust me,
completely understandable.
trust me, sweetheart. I'd like to start crying too if Uncle Will's going to keep this negativity up all night. But, Will, you said something. If Jared Goff can be that guy, if he can be that quarterback, and I think he can be, but then there's times where I need him to show up and he doesn't. And that Washington game was one of those times where bad plays got worse. We didn't help him out on defense, but he didn't help the defense out. Whoever you want to blame more, I don't know. It's all water under the bridge and time to move on. But there was something that happened in the series, and I can't even call it a full scene. It was more like just a perked my ears up type of moment when I think it was the first game they were showing when we were playing the Minnesota Vikings the first time, and Jared was talking about all of the blitz packages that Brian Flores shows and how they were getting prepared for that. And there was a scene in the game where Jared Goff is in shotgun and he's calling out some blitzes, and you know who he turns to? He turns to a center and says, "Hey, Frank, are we good on this blitz pickup?" Frank goes, "Yeah." And I just started thinking, like, man, we're going to have a new face under center this year. Like, how's this going to work? Like, this is someone that Jared Goff trusts to be picking up these heavy blitzes and making sure that every single offensive lineman knows exactly who they're blocking and that everything's protected and covered. Can Graham Glasgow be that guy? Is it going to be someone else down the road? But I just don't understand, or I don't think people understand how big of a loss that is, losing Frank Ragnow. And not to turn this into a Frank Ragnow show, but it was really only like 2 or 3 seconds, and I just happened to catch it, and I was like, yep, that's someone who's going to be new under center next year, and I hope Jared has the same faith in them because we lost an all-pro center. So just a quick clip from that, but how do you feel about that? Do you know the scene I'm referring to?
I do. I'm very familiar with the scene that you're referring to, and that was a pivotal couple of seconds, and it also stood out to me, Steve. I think that that's ultimately going to be a more of a reason for Graham Glasgow to be that center this year, a veteran that's seen it all up front. Tate can probably, maybe towards the second half of the season, maybe he takes over, or maybe the following season, that's something that Tate does. But I'm really expecting Graham Glasgow to be the center, Tate be at one guard, Christian Mahogany at the other guard, Decker, Sewell. That's what I'm expecting. And that won't worry me as much. But if we have Tate in the center of that offensive line, I'm not worried about his physical ability. But what you're talking about, that right there, that would worry me as well, Steve. So that's something that we're going to need to watch going into the season, going through training camp. I'm sure Tim 20-man and the beat writers will be writing about it. But yeah, I think that was definitely pivotal.
Just a quick little 4-second scene. But I'll tell you what this Netflix show did do is it got me ready for football, Will. That's probably one thing I can say. Me and my wife were watching together, and I just said, hey, we got like 24 days until we're heading down to the Hall of Fame game and getting ready to watch some Detroit Lions football. So it did get it was like kind of perfectly timed when they released this. And I think they did that on purpose because it's football season. Like, we're less than a week away from training camp starting, which is absolutely crazy. I feel like this offseason has been long. And they even hinted that, when the Lions lost to the Commanders, I think it was, I can't remember who the voice was. I want to say it was Dan saying, how Lions fans are gearing up for a long offseason after a disappointing loss. And I took that and I said, that's exactly what this offseason has been for me. It has been long. It's been painful. It's left a bad taste in my mouth. I won't say that it's as bad as that NFC Championship game taste I had in my mouth, but it's right up there, Will, because last season was supposed to be so special, greatest Lions season in franchise history, one and done in the playoffs, but we get a chance to redeem ourselves here in a couple weeks. We start the road to the Super Bowl of this year.
Yeah, Steve, I'm happy with this offseason. I'm gonna be honest. I'm sitting in a little bit of a different boat, but I completely understand where you're at.
No, I'm not disappointed with the offseason. I'm just, it's been long. Like, I needed to get to football season. I like what we've done.
Yeah, I just mean just how the season ended, and then just having to wait until this season to start. It's just, after watching, and I finished it up today. After finishing it up today, I feel inspired for the boys, man. I feel like it's gonna be that fuel that we need to go and win the big one. It truly, I don't want to say, actually I'm gonna hold on to it, but it just gave me a warm and fuzzy watching it. I guess it was kind of the counter effect of what I thought that it was gonna give me. But some more cool stuff about Jared before we get off of him. The scholarships that he talked about, and helping out the kids in the city. That was another thing that I didn't know. I knew he was up for the Walter Payton Player of the Year, but I didn't really know how deeply he was in golf. To see what I did there in the city.
Mm.
Doing stuff
Play
in the
on
city,
words.
man. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I'm a wizard, but but in all seriousness, it was really cool to hear those kids come on and talk about him, see him talking to the kids, and see how passionate he is about doing that type of stuff. Thought that that was awesome. Uh, Jared Goff, man, he he's our quarterback, man. But after watching that, he was already our quarterback. We come on here and say it all the time. We're gonna give him a hard time about, because that's what we're gonna do. You know, we got to be critical about certain situations. But Jared Goff is our guy. We've both said it. He just got a little extra notch for me because of his toughness, because of his awareness, because of his uh just his iron will. Steve, this is a guy, he wants it really bad. I'm going into this season, my expectations are through the moon. They already were, but I just got a little bit more of a warm and fuzzy. Another one, Steve, was when he got hit in that Commanders game. I don't even know if he knew who he was at first. He even said, you hear him, he says something, he's like, ooh, or something, like when he first walks over, only to go, no, I'm good. I'm good. Why am I getting a 10? I don't need to go in a 10. I'm ready. I'm good. I'm ready to go. Hey, coach, just so you know, I'm going in this tent, but I'm good. I'm going to be out. I'm coming back. Like, I love that mentality, man. He is a tough son of a gun. He may not be moving anywhere crazy fast, Steve, but he is a little bit more elusive than even I've given him credit for. One of those throws that he made in the Commanders game where he had a guy on his legs, he was kind of falling forward and he threw the touchdown to Sam Laporta, who caught it one-handed. He's out there. He's making some plays, man. Jared Goff, let's get you a Super Bowl. Let's get us a Super Bowl. I'm excited for it, man, as I go through and then I look at all of this stuff, even some of the social media stuff, and it wasn't just with Jared. His old lady talked about it a little bit. Jared talks about how he's kind of tries to stay off social media during the season. The Kirk Cousins situation was diabolical. That was, but
Wild.
well, that was
Yeah.
just rough, man. That his wife and everything, with I having to see it, and then she's seeing it before he sees it, then the phone rings. Like that was crazy, man. I just feel like sometimes I feel like we're pretty good about not doing it, but we're even guilty sometimes. But a lot of times, especially when you look at this stuff on Twitter, you hear people talking in casual conversation, they dehumanize these players. It was just another opportunity to realize that these are humans. They got kids, they got dogs, they got families, they got personal lives. They're trying to get Batmobiles in the off season. Like they're just these are people that are just trying to live, man. And it just so happens that thousands of millions of people watch them do their job every weekend. So uh when you think about that, and I kind of focus back in on that aspect of it, this dude is doing pretty doggone good with the chips that he has at his disposal. But Steve, you said it, and I agree with you. He's got every damn chip that you need to take care of business.
Plus some.
I need him to, yeah, I need him to take care of business this season. He's got the fuel. To me, that was the last key, Steve. It was the fuel. He had fuel when he left the Rams to go out and have success. Not necessarily win a Super Bowl, but just success, because they sent him out the pasture. They sent him out to everybody, to include me. I said that he was going to be a bridge quarterback. Okay, we got a bridge quarterback so we can draft somebody. That's kind of where I thought that it was going. Shame on me. He said, no. I'm going to turn the city around. I'm going to chase Super Bowls with a team that was a scratch and a sniff ago was 0-16. Like, so I'm excited, Steve, for this season for all of those reasons. I think we got a doggone good guy. And Steve, do you think that you feel better about him being our quarterback? Not that you felt bad, because I don't think either one of us felt bad about him being our guy, but it make you feel any better after watching the series?
I don't like your questions tonight, Will. I don't like your question. I don't like your questions because it means I have to. That means I have to answer. I don't. I honestly don't think it changed my opinion of him. Like I don't know that he needs more fuel. You lost in the NFC Championship game the year before. That should have fueled you for this year. So what's it going to be in 2025? Oh, we lost to Washington. That's my fuel. Like, I don't know. He's got all the pieces around him. We just got to avoid those bad games. I don't need him to be Josh Allen. I just need him to be really good. Like, I don't need him to be an MVP caliber. I just need him to not make some of the mistakes he made in that Washington game. I think that our defense is going to be better. I think that's going to contribute and help. But I'll tell you this: I am excited. Like I asked. Oh, my wife's not listening. Listen, I'm trying to convince her to let me go to Green Bay for Week 1, Will, and it's a fine line I'm flirting with here in the Perkins household. So I might have to do a little finagling. But I was looking like I was like, oh dang, Green Bay's only 7 hours. I thought it was a lot further than that. Like I could make that drive. I could get to Week 1. And she's like, well, you're already going to the Bengals game. Well, hey, it's ball season. Like you know what happens on Sundays. We sit and we watch football, whether that's here or there. Football is going to be watched. So I am very, very excited for the season. I'm ready to go. We're getting ready to pack up and head down to Canton, Ohio here in a couple weeks for the preseason game. So my excitement level hasn't changed, but my opinion on Jared Goff hasn't changed either. Like he's got all the tools in the shed. You got all these weapons around you. Like I don't know what the reason for failure is going to be. You got to figure out a way to get a Super Bowl because time's ticking. I'm not getting any younger. You're not getting any younger. You can only lose for so long before some changes have to be made. That's all I'm going to say. So I know he's our quarterback for the next couple years, but this is a team that's primed and ready to win. I saw something on Twitter the other day that I think it was, or it might have even been on ESPN, that the Lions have the second best chances to make the Super Bowl out of the NFC. I think it was like a 14% chance right behind the Eagles or something like that. So everyone's still on board that the Lions are going to be a damn good team. So I'm still with that. But my opinion, Jared Goff hasn't moved, hasn't changed. I'm still right where I am.
I like it, man, because your opinion was pretty high anyways, man. He just a couple notches. I'm just giving him a couple more notches. He gave me a warm and fuzzy. I just think complacency is a word that sticks out in my mind, Steve. Got a little complacent last season. He thought that we had arrived. We were the Kansas City Chiefs. We just don't not make it to the Super Bowl. We're not going to be
just showing up ain't good enough.
Yeah, period. So lesson learned. He's got 2 strikes, right? We were ahead of schedule. That's my first excuse for Jared Goff. The first one, San Francisco 49ers. Hey, we went into that season saying home playoff game, and we're happy, right? Great job, Jared. Last season, a little bit of complacency. This season, Jared, we need a Super Bowl.
Period. You know what I noticed? A little off topic. He's an elite talent, Joe Burrow, but he's fucking corny. He is a corny ass dude, Will. Like I'm telling you, like I kind of had a hint, like, yeah, from some stuff I've seen on Twitter, but him and Kirk Cousins, those guys couldn't motivate me to run through a wet paper bag. Like there's I don't know how teams rally behind them because they're not rah-rah guys, but there was a scene where Joe Burrow, it was like make or break time for them, or they had to win a football game, and they were recording from behind the door, and he was mic'd up, and I was just like, man, that was the big speech from Joe Burrow. Like he's a hell of a talent. Might be my fantasy quarterback this year. Don't get me wrong, because I won a championship with him a couple years ago. But yeah, just corny. Him and Kirk Cousins, like I don't know, didn't really do it for me. Their personalities weren't really my cup of tea, but they're elite talents.
You're not digging the great clips?
I mean, Kirk Cousins, I'll say this. He's the ultimate dad. Like he is just, if he's not a football player, let me ask you this. If Kirk Cousins wasn't playing in the NFL, what would you picture him doing?
Selling insurance.
I was literally just going to say, like, I don't know, like he's got to have a 9-to-5, like a banker type job or something, like great clips, like just dad now. And I respect the hell out of it, but I don't know, just a little cheesiness in there for me.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I don't know. He did a pretty doggone good swag and surf.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that he did. I don't know that it was. I don't know that it was. He did do it. I don't know that it was pretty good.
High level of effort.
What about Joe Burrow's frosted tips? Does that do it for you, or is that like I mean, I had frosted tips back in like '99 when everyone wanted to be Eminem, but I don't know. 2025, I feel like that trend's gonna die.
I'm not big with the frosted tips, but the Slim Shady was fire. I will give him that. Slim Shady was fire.
I don't know.
And I do remember. I do remember I seeing kids. I had a couple of my kids that played for me when Burrow was rocking that Slim Shady haircut, shaved down low with the bleach blonde. A couple of the kids did it. Rocking that Joey B cut.
I've got to know something right now immediately. Is there a photograph out there of you with frosted tips?
I plead the fifth, sir.
I will find it. I hereby dedicate the rest of my life to finding this photograph. Mama Ford, if you're watching, slide in the DMs. We'll work something out. You let me know the price. I have to have that picture if there's one available. You got anything else for tonight, Will?
No, I don't. Please wrap it up.
Slide in the DMs. I'll check all my spam. We'll conduct business. Stick around, hit that like button. We'll be back later with another show.
Peace.